Welcome back, my confidants, to another fantastical, magical episode of Confidently Insecure, the podcast where we're absolutely sure we don't know everything. And this week is a special episode because not only is one of my favorite hoes through history of this generation here, JAZZMYNE Robbins, to do another episode, but we have our first guest for host throughout history.
Yeah,
Motherfucking
your
Kate.
prudest friend.
Still?
Do you identify as prude?
No.
Oh.
I didn't know if that was a.
Is that what you just said?
I said prude. Is that an identity?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck me. No.
I believed you.
No. I mean, I didn't know.
panicking.
I didn't know that was an identity.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this is Kate Peterman. All of you know her from Adultship, Things I Used to Lie About podcast,
What's up?
BuzzFeed, my friend, JAZZMYNE's friend.
I don't know. Prude
very
was an
funny.
identity. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, it has
It's
to
not
be.
crazy.
Right?
I don't know. I don't do it on purpose, so that's why I wouldn't identify as it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be prude?
No, that's why I go to therapy. Yeah. Well, that's not the only reason, but hopefully that's a byproduct.
Bye.
Hey, that's what I identify as.
You got two bisexuals in the house and a FBL, a full-blown lesbian.
Ooh, yeah.
And we're here to talk about another famous hoe throughout historical times. Jazz, you posted the funniest video of you with a fucking wig on.
dumb.
Like
so
a Marie
dumb.
Antoinette wig. What the fuck was that?
I was filming a video at BuzzFeed where I had to wear
Never
that
heard of
thing.
it.
I know. It's new.
Is it a show called Hoes Throughout History?
No, I wish.
Guys, it's still just a podcast. We're sorry. But maybe if we combine that GIF with like one episode.
Honestly, it went off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was very funny.
Great
Circle
numbers. Great numbers
Yeah?
on it, to be honest.
Yeah, everyone go check out Jazz's GIF that I'm talking about on her Instagram. Code, the way this episode works for you and all the listeners who haven't listened to an HTH yet is that I have picked a famous throughout historical times, and I have done my research. I have rewritten her story
Yes.
in my words, and I tell the story to JAZZMYNE.
I can't get over how pretty you look right now.
That is...
I
I'm going to
like-
cry. I'm PMSing. Things are happening in my
I'm
life. You
seriously
can't
like this
compliment.
person needs to be treated
my-
very, very well.
Stop.
I know. I'm like
I can't.
I'm like trying to take that like, hey.
Oh, Jazz, in my
I know,
own
but this
home.
is- I know.
So
front
I'm
of
gonna,
my salad.
I'm going to tell you a story, and you're going to react
Okay.
along with Jazz.
Yeah.
Sounds like most of our friendship.
And Walter, the mini Australian Shepherd, is also here to
He
bring
looks like
us.
my first dog, but much, much smaller.
What kind of dog did you have?
I don't know. He was a real mutt.
Oh, you
Jazz,
think right there is
he's
proper,
chosen
huh?
you. Cue the host throughout history music, JAZZMYNE. That's you. Do you remember the song you made up?
No.
Neither do I. It was something like do 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 host. Do you remember?
No.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's the intro music for this segment, Host Throughout History.
Hose.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen, gather around, children of all ages. Let me take you back to a historical time in history to tell you the story about this week's hoe, GIULIA Tofana.
Okay. What
Initial
time are we in?
reactions? I'm glad you asked. This was the late 1650s in Italia.
Oh.
Question.
Okay.
You have to talk into the
Okay,
mic.
sorry. Question. Can I
Answer.
turn my microphone or the earphones down because I'm actually dying? Yeah, it was your guys' voices.
Yeah, we have loud voices.
I also have an ear infection where I truly can't hear anything out of my...
Kate turned off her whole headphones.
I can't hear any... The only thing
this
I
is so
can
much
hear
better.
in my right ear is this.
Same.
Okay, back to our bitch, GIULIA Tofana. And I was reading her name out loud. And if you just say GIULIA Tofana, it's not as exciting. But if you say GIULIA Tofana...
Unless you say Juliana Tofana. Oh, that's old Juliana Tofana. Here she comes.
She is such a bad bitch. The more I read about her, the more I truly couldn't believe We have never heard of this Italian home.
Always.
You're always shook to hear these stories,
Yeah, I'm
right?
always mad. I'm just like, why did it take me 28, almost 29 years of my life to hear about this?
And I do want to put a call out there for the listeners to try and send me someone that's not a white bitch from Europe for one of these episodes, because what the fuck was going on with white ladies in Europe at this time?
Yeah.
That all of them were murderous.
Feral. Absolutely feral.
All right,
I feel like white women, we're still feral.
Yeah,
we're just wearing J. Crew now with
Yeah.
it.
definitely.
Let me set you the scene.
Kind of like a feral white woman walking around like Target wearing J. Crew and just be like,
Jasmine, who are you texting?
My significant other, also named Kate.
"Aw, great name."
Yeah.
So let me set the scene. It's late 1650s in Italy. It's the tail end of the Renaissance period.
I love the Renaissance.
They were
some
fucking
great art.
Exactly. The country had experienced a rebirth, if you will.
Yeah.
It produced some
Yeah.
of the world's greatest art and embraced science, philosophy, poems. You know,
Ooh, I
what?
love philosophy. Too.
Yeah, I feel like turned on just hearing all of this. Of
Yeah.
course they were fucking.
I'm so glad you did, because you know what the one thing they didn't celebrate was during this time?
sex. Sex.
People of color.
And women.
Oh. Yep.
As a whole.
Got it.
The country was super progressive, but the attitude towards women was still pretty oppressive. Imagine that.
Which is nuts because all of your art seems to be of women.
Milky tittied women.
Really fucking interesting.
Tittied women.
It's been that way forever, always.
During the Renaissance, it was an era of arranged marriages, and people never got divorced. It wasn't an option, and
So
that
we're
made
just
me
cheating.
it made me curious about, like, when was divorce even originated? Like, how far back was the term divorce used? Do you guys have any guesses?
I would guess after the 50s.
The 1950s?
Where did divorce originate?
Or like what year? What time period do you think?
No, just the 50s.
1890s.
You're both wrong. It was before Christ.
No. Whoa. No.
Yes.
But it didn't start being taken seriously until after the 50s.
Listen to this. It was invented in the 1795 BC. A king priest of Babylon ordered his country code of laws for divorce rules had to be carved onto an 8-foot-high black stone monument. A man could divorce his wife by saying, "You are not my wife,"
Same.
paying a fine and returning her dowry.
Oh.
So it had to be written on this big black 8-foot stone. And then you had to say, "You're not my wife," and bop her on the head and give her back her dowry. And that's how you got divorced.
Dang.
If only it was that simple now.
Correct. Some articles even stated that during this time in the Renaissance, the only way out of a marriage was by death.
Yeah.
Oh.
So even if you were forced into a marriage by your family and your husband had complete control over your wives and could do anything they want and beat you and treat you completely powerless, the only way you could get out of it is if one of you died.
So we're going to hear a story about how she killed her husband.
Ooh, do you think?
I hope.
Maybe. Back to our girl Giulia. So our girl Giulia has been believed to be born in Palermo, Sicily, though the year of her birth is unknown. She was the daughter of a woman named Tofana.
Tatiana?
Tofana.
Tatiana.
And her dad's not important because her mom straight up killed him. And because her mom murdered her dad, her mom was executed, leaving Giulia orphaned. So she's the daughter of a dead guy and a murderer who is also dead.
How old was she when that happened?
We don't know because we don't know a lot about her childhood
Okay.
because she was an orphan. Yeah. But we do know, this just goes to show how the patriarchy was alive and well back then, that she was a very beautiful woman in her early teen and early adult years. That's the one fact we do know
That's
about
really,
her.
really
Gross,
fucked up.
right?
Yeah.
But she's hot, so good for her. Giulia had a daughter that she named Girolama. Not
Girolama.
So we have Tatiana, Girolama, and Julia. And we know that she had a baby, but the baby daddy is unknown, which I think that will come back into play later into this tale.
Okay.
Because it all sounds very mysterious as of right now, right? She's like, this woman who has a baby, her parents are dead, let's move on. Julia needed to provide for her daughter, Girolama, right? So she decided to take up work at an apothecary.
I'm sorry.
What?
What's an apothecary?
Exactly. I thought it was a place that wizards worked. It's not.
No, an apothecary is like for medicines and
It's
shit.
a pharmacy, basically, back in old times.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's
It's like a cobbler.
Walgreens.
It's like a Walgreens of
like
the Renaissance.
Apothecaries and cobblers are Walgreens and Sneaker Kings.
What's Sneaker King?
I know what a cobbler is. It's just an apothecary. I've never heard of it.
Just figured I'd take a little stroll.
So it's basically, Julia basically worked at a pharmacy so that she could provide for her daughter, right?
Go off.
Well. Julia gets so good at working at an apothecary and pharmacy, and times are only getting worse for women. So Julia's like, fuck this. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start making my own line of products that you would normally find in your local CVS/Walgreens.
Goop.
Exactly. She decided to make her own brand of a cosmetics line. We love a beauty guru.
Goop is
Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness line.
Woo.
It's overpriced
That's why it was a joke.
and smells decent. So she
Never
creates her
tried
own
it.
line of cosmetics. Like,
Go off.
we love a beauty queen,
What are they
right?
called?
Here's
Fenty?
here's the catch.
Oh.
It's not cosmetics at all.
Drugs.
It's drugs.
It's poison. Oh,
I'm so intrigued.
So-
she gave it to women to kill their husbands.
boom.
Oh, wow.
This is the coolest
Wow.
story I've ever
Wow.
heard.
Wowity wow.
Okay,
Wow.
keep explaining.
Right? So she basically designed a line of cosmetics to look like poison. Now, before I tell you more about her line, I want to tell you a little bit more about poison at this time period of the world because it is important.
Okay.
Poison was known as the women's weapon of choice when they wanted to murder someone in medieval times.
You had to.
Yeah, that's like,
What else could you do?
yeah,
You're
you're not
gonna
allowed
yield
to
a sword.
Exactly.
Right.
Wield.
And did you also know that the history behind why cheersing was invented?
Not at all.
Cheersing is so that you could you splash liquid into both cups so that you know that whoever you're cheersing with is also not poisoned.
Why do you know that?
Weird random fact, but yeah, that's correct. So like poison was such a problem back in then. That's why you cheer, so that like kings would cheers each other and say like, whatever I'm getting, you're getting.
Yeah.
And even if someone else is trying to poison
looky
us,
here.
Doo-doo.
I love that you're doing something very physical for a visual an audio.
Elbowed the dog in the face. He is perfectly. He is.
Didn't blink an eye.
He's knocked out. He's fine.
And did you also know that Mormons aren't allowed to cheers because it's superstitious? I didn't know that.
There's a long list of stuff Mormons aren't allowed to do. I heard.
Very true. So
Yeah.
poison was associated with cosmetics for a number of reasons in the the Renaissance period. There was an ingredient called belladonna, which was popular because it dilated your pupils, which fit in with the Renaissance standard of beauty. So if you had dilated pupils, your eyes looked more sparkly and you looked beautiful. One problem was that belladonna is deadly. So while people
On purpose?
didn't know that they were accidentally drugging themselves when they took belladonna. There was another element called cochineal. And cochineal was made from dried female scale insects that were found dwelling on Mexican cacti. And the women would take this
Very specific.
insect and mix it in with...
They were in Italy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
they
how
had
they
Mexican
got-
cacti in
Yeah.
Italy. Yeah, okay.
Clearly, Kate.
Duh.
Why
I was
didn't
like,
you know
why
that?
Mexican cacti? You have to go all the way to Mexico? That seems like
Or they had it shipped, I'd
yeah, that's why I
assume.
feel like they had the cacti.
It would take a long time to get there, but I'm sure they boated it in. So they would
keep
use
it alive
that.
on the boat.
I don't think it had to be alive. It was an insect they found on the plant.
With the plant?
Got
we don't
it.
have to think about this.
Whatever, not important. The point is that they would mix this in with lipstick. That was another compound that they found out was deadly and poisonous when women would start wearing it. And another product called mercuric chloride they used to use to try and get rid of unsightly freckles. And 1 small gram would be enough to be absorbed into the skin and immediately start killing tissue cells and destroy your nervous system. So like whoopsie daisies, a bunch of women accidentally killed themselves with cosmetics because back then they didn't fucking know. They weren't like Michelle Phan or Jeffree Star. They didn't know.
The thing is, what I learned from the video that I was just in wearing that wig is it was the time was like in the 1700s. When was this? 1650? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a little bit later. They would like make their faces white, you know, with some stuff that would end up making their skin fall off.
Oh shit!
But they like would keep using it to be as like white as possible and bleach their skin, and their skin would like fucking fall off.
That's the thing. Women didn't know what the fuck they were doing back then. They were just experimenting.
Wouldn't you know though? Once your skin started falling off, you're like maybe too far.
I feel like anything back then could have killed you. They had no science to tell what was.
Yeah, it must
good
have
and bad.
sucked.
There was no testing of those.
Everything sucked.
Yeah.
Because it was all how it is now, but it just with less stuff. You know?
Okay, so back to our girl Julia, right? She decides to make this poisonous cosmetic, not to accidentally, make women feel better about themselves, but to murder their husbands. So she created a poison that consisted of arsenic, that cochineal medicine I just told you about, the Mexican cacti bug, belladonna, the nightshade that can make you go blind that I just told you about,
and she put them all in there.
Lead. So
what?
She had like a trifecta of fucked up poisonous stuff that somehow was able to look like pressed powders and lipsticks. So she was a motherfucking chemist.
An original hustler, if you will.
Oh, yes, I make that reference in
Jennifer Lopez, take notes. Am I right, ladies?
So, of course, she had to name her product, right?
Like Jennifer Lopez is really making those drugs. Imagine.
And also, Jennifer Lopez doesn't listen to this podcast.
That you know of.
Everyone tweet this at her.
I'm
so
sure
she can hear.
Jennifer Lopez listens.
If you're Jennifer Lopez and you listen to this, hit us up. Kelsey will give you a prize.
What? Okay.
Yes!
Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't care. Sounds good. Julia had to name this product, and she named it Aqua Tofana.
What does that mean?
Sounding like a damn Rihanna perfume.
Yeah.
It's water and her last name.
Oh. Okay.
Although, who is going to name a clear, tasteless poison and name it after yourself? Like, that is a dead giveaway. That's like me calling something like, this is super able to kill you, Darragh, and putting my address on the back of the fucking bottle.
Peterman shot in the face.
Wait, did people not know this was poison?
No, they did.
Yeah.
But my point is that she named it after her name, but like, that's such a dead giveaway.
Well, I mean, they were gonna track it back to her anyway.
Will they?
Would they?
No.
Do they?
Well, it's clearly not a dead giveaway then, is
We'll
it? If
see.
they don't.
Oh my God, I need to know.
So, again, it was completely tasteless, odorless, and colorless and could be dropped into any liquid and consumed. The death by Aqua Tofana was real fucked up because it would come on slowly and steady, but always kill with one dose. Like, her shit was consistent. It was slow acting and resembled progress of diseases or death from natural causes. So here's the fucked up part, is that these men didn't even know that they were being poisoned by their wives because everyone just thought they were dying from natural causes. So it wasn't even like there was a string of like mysterious deaths that all looked the same. It was like bitches were just dropping because the time of the world was just shitty.
you would just die if you had strep throat.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it took.
I'm glad you asked. It took about 4 weeks. So you would poison them, and at first they would show flu-like symptoms.
So you would poison them, and you would just, that's some like,
And then you wait.
that's some fucked up like killer shit right there.
Yeah, it's like she wanted to watch them die slowly.
Yeah.
So first you would get like a flu-like symptoms.
I couldn't.
And then by the third week, you'd be throwing up, dehydrated, diarrhea. and your digestive system would burn from the inside out.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And she said that it took people so long to die and they were so ill that they actually had time to write out a will because they knew that they were getting sicker and sicker. And a lot of these people left their wives all of their stuff.
Well, I mean, she's for the people. We understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, it depends what situation I guess I was in, but just like to make the decision that like, okay, I'm going to poison someone and they're going to die. That's a heavy thing. And then to watch it happen for a month is what would fuck me up.
But then she gets to see progress because after they die, the men would leave their wives, their battered wives, all their stuff and money.
That's the thing is that I feel like there weren't a lot of decent men back then.
Yeah.
This could have been solved.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a lot of these women were like, oh, I want to just be on my own. You know? They were just, because it's also like not like safe to be on your own. You probably
Right.
want the protection of a man. So to be like, I would rather be on my own than when with this in-house tyrant who's just fucking me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
know
would-
shit was bad.
And also if they're like, if they have kids and then in front of the kids they see like that, you yeah, I could see being like, oh,
I
fuck
get it. That's just a lot.
She
It's
must
a-
have
it's
been
a
numb
lot.
as fuck though, because you're right. Like to see that happen, and again, like I brought up that we don't know anything about her baby daddy, and it makes me wonder, like, did men scorn her that she was like so scorned by men that she was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna help women murder their husbands because we don't know anything about her baby daddy, and I want to assume that he was like a shitty person.
Yeah, we don't know. Like, did the mom leave any notes for her? Did the mom like leave anything? Did she tell her anything?
Do you want me to reveal that part right now?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, I said oh.
Oh and no. I'll save it. I'll
interested.
save it. Okay, so check this. Aqua Tofana was so successful that she decided to create another product because her cosmetic line was just like popping off.
She was like,
the fucking Bobbi Brown
She's
of her
just gonna
time.
go right into skincare. Too.
So
yeah.
even worse, she decided to bring religion into this, and she started making tiny vials of
Holy water.
what she advertised was holy water for Mana
wow,
St. Nicholas.
my fucking highlight. Oh,
Jasmine,
I keep on looking at it. Do you see it?
It looks really
I thought
good.
you were
I
saying,
know.
oh my God, towards her putting
No.
poison in a
Do you
No,
see
she
religious
this
caught a
highlight?
glimpse of herself in the camera.
You two are a mess to record
Libra
with.
season is in full effect.
We forgot to mention it is Libra season.
Yes.
Rightfully so. I'll allow it then.
Thank you.
So she decided
Jesus Christ.
she decided to start putting this poison into holy water containers so women could actually wear the small vials around their neck as like jewelry.
Why?
So
'Cause-
that they could poison someone who fucking
On
wrongs
the
them
go?
on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
was on the
literally,
go.
it's travel size.
Jeez. This is intense.
Yeah, because I was looking at the research of like why cosmetics, and one article, which by the way is all linked below. I'm not like claiming to know any of this on my own. Said that because cosmetics were often left on a bedside table, it was really easy to poison at night because that's when women were rarely alone with their husbands, and the only time they were was really in their bedroom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Very Game of Thrones-y.
Shit.
Literally is at one part with the lipstick.
Oh,
Remember?
what season was that?
It's all one season to me. I watched it all in a week. It
Wow.
was the yeah. It was
That's intense. That was an intense time of your life.
And then I started having panic attacks.
Go figure.
Why?
Because of Game of Thrones.
I've never seen it.
No, I'm
Don't
kidding.
then.
It's not because of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
It's in
I
my
was
genes.
like, should I do that?
Which we're going to talk about on Kate's podcast, which will also be linked in the description below.
Bada bing, bada blah.
Okay, so back to our girl, Julia. Her daughter's getting older at this point. It's been a couple years that she's been doing this, and her daughter decides to join the family business.
Go off.
At this point, Julia is a well-regarded, I guess, assassin at this point
Yeah.
across Italy. And they moved to Rome to expand their clientele. How fucked up is that? They're like, we've killed all the bad men in this tiny Palermo town in Italy. We're going to move to fucking Rome where there's more people.
I don't think it's fucked up.
All
That's
right,
a business. You watch Shark Tank?
Do you
I
watch
do.
Shark Tank?
And I do like
I
Shark
fucking
Tank.
love Shark
I
Tank.
feel like it's risky. It's risky business.
It's risky.
Great movie.
I do agree. Never seen it. It is very
because
risky.
if there's
but
gonna be more people, and like Sicily's been kind of known for like doing dirty shit. You know,
wouldn't know
leave
that.
the gun, take the cannoli. That's all I know of
Delicious.
Sicily. I'm basing my entire view of Sicily off of The Godfather.
As you should.
And Sophia from Golden Girls. She's from Sicily.
Of course. So daughter starts working for mother here at this point, as well as they hire 3 side hosts to help them with their booming business. So there's 5 of them, which that's my reference to Hustlers.
this is literally Hustlers.
J-Lo, Constance Wu, with Lily Reinhart, Lizzo, and Cardi by her side.
And Keke Palmer.
And Keke Palmer. Oh, I forgot she was in that.
Kiki was one of the main
She's
4.
one of the main.
I was paying attention
Lizzo,
to Lizzo.
Lizzo and
was in
Cardi
there
B
for
were there
like
2
minutes.
And
seconds.
had all of my attention.
Keke Palmer was in the whole movie and was
You
one of the
can't
main
argue your way out of
characters.
I just don't remember. I'm literally doing what Kiki did in that gif where I'm like, I don't know this man.
If he walked down the street, I wouldn't know him. I'm sorry to this man.
I'm so sorry. I was
Do
so sorry
not
to
quote
this
this
man.
woman when you did not even shout her out.
I forgot.
How can you forget?
I
She's
just
a main
forgot.
character.
I just forgot.
one of the main 4.
Literally.
There are so many.
I felt
There
so
wasn't.
much like Lily Reinhart's character in that movie. Every
What?
time she gets nervous, she pukes.
Yeah.
I didn't know who that was.
Oh, she's from Riverdale.
I think that's her
Every
first.
person has said that, so I know that much.
I
But
feel like it's her first feature now.
It probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked her. I thought she was very
Well,
funny
everyone
in
should go
it.
see it.
They were all very good. It was a great movie.
Great movie.
No.
So, okay.
Do you think I could fit this whole thing in my mouth?
Kate. Jasmine can. Jasmine
my
currently has
God.
the entire microphone in her fucking mouth. Guys, stop trying to blowjob the microphones.
Hey, if I was trying, I would be doing it.
Oh yeah?
I don't know.
Dare you? Dare you?
That's how I do it. I just put the dick in my mouth and scream.
Or you blow on it,
Ew.
thinking that's what an actual blowjob is.
My job here is done.
And come. Okay, so they've got this booming business now with 5 women doing this. The daughter is so smart that she's like, we don't want this formula to be traced back to us. So the daughter had the idea to constantly mix up the recipe so as to divert the authorities. So now
Oh.
they're making new formulas of the same murderous poison, but just so that the authorities can't catch them.
Okay.
Smart.
Yeah.
Were they named different things, you think?
They were all named I Did It.
But like, of course, any good Hollywood movie, some conflict starts to arise.
Of course.
Some of her customers claim to have used it for its actual advertised purposes and caused a bunch of accidental deaths.
How can you claim something when you...
That's y'all's fault. That's not her fault.
Well,
That's
How
not her
do
fault.
they know?
how do they?
You know when you let your friend borrow your lip gloss,
Yeah.
and it's poisoned.
and you know when
I
you
would know it's
accidentally
poison,
murder
and I would
someone?
say to you, this is poison. You're making this decision.
Maybe someone got their hands on a batch and we're selling it at the local flea market. And
I feel like there's more to the story there, but yeah.
Yeah, reselling gifts.
but what ultimately brought down JULIA Tofana was a simple bowl of soup.
Classic
You
destruction
see?
by soup.
It's the most simple things that
Yeah.
will just crumble your whole
Yeah,
business.
it's when you're getting lazy. It's when you let things start slipping through the cracks, like in Hustlers.
Yep.
There was a regretful wife who stopped her husband from eating the soup with Aqua Tofana in it, and he smelled a rat. He forced the truth from her by torturing his own wife and dragged her off to the authorities. They also tortured her, and basically she spilled every last syllable of what she knew. But what I'm most impressed by is that there was one leak in over 20 years of her doing this.
Also, you would not have to torture me.
You would have been
I would be like,
here's her name.
here's her
Social
address.
Security.
Here's her Instagram. DM her. They're open. Like, I would have ratted it out in a second.
Like, why are you going to poison your husband and then be like, slow motion, he's lifting the spoon up to his lips, and last minute she like smacks it out and was like, no, I changed my mind. Like,
that would also be me.
Really?
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to do this. Then I'd watch him and I'd be like, oh,
no.
buddy, no, we're
Do you
fine.
think
Don't eat that soup. But also, why couldn't she just lie and be like, I got poison?
Because men were so terrible back then.
But like,
Why didn't you just
so he wanted probably like a specific, like,
he's like, where did you get this incredible, tasteless, odorless poison?
yeah, she couldn't just be like at the corner.
Yeah, because she couldn't be like, at the wizard at the apothecary gave it to me.
Apothecary.
What's it called?
Apothecary.
Oh, fuck. Dyslexia. But it does make sense, right? Because anyone that's buying Aqua Tofana is going to be a murderer. So it's best for both parties to keep quiet. Yeah. So you would expect that our girl Julia would be arrested immediately, right? When this girl rats her out. Well, it turns out that didn't happen because too many locals had stake in her remaining free. And people just warned her instead. So, like, basically so many women rallied around her and they told her that they were coming for her. And she decided to flee with her daughter and 3 side bitches. So, like, that's feminism.
That's great.
They were like, they're coming for you.
And so she just took all that sweet, sweet cash that she made,
fucking
took
ran.
off, and probably just gave some people a little, here's a vial for your troubles.
I wonder I wonder if they did any research. Like, okay, she left, but they were like, oh, we've noticed so many husbands have been dead in the past.
And now that she's
I wonder
gone,
if they, like, traced it.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because...
I didn't.
Oh.
She just wondered.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you wondered. So at this point, Julia is elderly and she fled Rome and she ran to the nearest church and demanded sanctuary for her and her 3 side cronies and her daughter, which was granted.
But she used holy water.
You'll see. So
Wait, what happened?
They're going to be pissed.
she fled to a
Or
church.
once a
got
hustler,
them.
always a hustler.
So, all of a sudden, a rumor throughout Rome was popping off that she had poisoned all of the town's water. So it seemed like once she fled and the men were like, where'd that witch go? And all the women were like, we don't know. They were like, well, she poisoned everyone. Everyone's going to die. So we got to go find her. So a mob actually stormed the church that she had found sanctuary at and was extracted by a mob of what I'm assuming is men and given over to the authorities.
What about her daughter?
Tofana and her daughters and her 3 cronies were arrested, and Tofana confessed to producing the poison, and she also implicated a number of her clients, claiming that they knew what they were buying. And while she was being tortured, she confessed to poisoning over 600 men. That was a bone Jasmine just threw across the room.
Throw me a bone.
600 men.
And the number is actually believed to be a lot more than 600 because that was just how many bottles she had made. And one bottle could kill more than one person. So it was actually believed that she killed more than 600 men, which would make her the most infamous serial killer with the highest body count because she also...
Ever?
Yeah, in history.
Who would know?
And she also... She didn't just help women kill. She made murderers. Like she made women murderers. She made at least 600 murderers. Jasmine's como se como saing.
Yeah, she did.
Different times.
So she was executed in 1659 along with her daughter and 3 cronies, and there was
Damn, the daughter?
Aww.
There was
And
so
the
much
3.
anger throughout Italy that a lot of her clients fled and others were punished and some were actually executed. A bunch of women claimed that they had no idea Tofana's products were poisonous and basically were like, we didn't know. But anyone that had this product, all the husbands were all of a sudden side-eyeing them like, what's on your nightstand?
How did she die?
She was executed in a town square.
Damn.
Was it hanging?
I think they just like tortured her and chopped her head off.
Oh, I wish they would have just given her her own product.
Ooh. Speaking of her product, some
You could
Sold
buy
now
some.
at Sephora.
Use Kelsey Darragh for 10%
10% off. To this day, some claim that the method in which her poison was made has never been understood. So when she died, her poison died with her and her ingredient list. So which is crazy to me
Which
because
is
like
the most Italian thing you could possibly do. The recipe's coming with me.
which is crazy. Like we could put a man on the fucking moon, but we can't figure out how this bitch blended a few herbs together. Like
So funny.
although there are some rumors that Mozart had actually died by this, even though he was born 100 years after her death. But like some say maybe some of her bottles lived on and that's how he was poisoned. But some people actually said that he died of syphilis. So who fucking knows?
Syphilis was a big thing.
Yeah,
Still is.
Yeah.
The big reveal.
Oh, it still is.
Stop.
The big reveal that I didn't tell you in the beginning was that the way that her father died in the very beginning
Poison.
was that her mother poisoned him. So maybe it was passed down in her blood in an Italian family because when you hear your family. And that, everybody, is the story
I feel
of
like-
Giulia Tofana.
I love it. I feel like her mom for sure told her, hey, listen, they're definitely going to get me for this. Here's how you mix this shit up. And if a man's ever bad to you, you just poison him.
Oh, shit. And maybe that happened when she was young, and that's why she went to go work at the apothecary.
Yeah, she probably went to work at the apothecary because she
said that right. Apothecary. Yeah, I feel like she did that because she wanted to like perfect the recipe.
It's so crazy how trauma really just gets passed down, huh?
Generational
Trauma, like recipes, gets passed down.
I think it's also crazy that she's maybe the biggest serial killer in the history of times, but like
JULANNA Tofana.
JULIANNA Tofana.
If I started a cosmetics line, I would name it after her stuff.
That's insane. That is an insane
And
thing
you could
to
call
say.
things like belladonna.
Yeah, because
and,
you know
like-
people like, you know how
People are
every
really into
brand
like
has their like ethos and what's your story? I'd be like,
this bitch.
serial killers. Juliana.
damn, that's
specifically
it's
killing
pretty
men.
cool. I feel like people would love it. People would be like, "Don't talk to me. I'm wearing my JULANNA Tofana earring."
Yeah.
Or I mean, my lipstick, not earrings. You
I
can
love
branch out into earrings.
You really good.
You can branch out into earrings that
And
hold
jewelry.
lipstick,
Yeah.
Well, you could do
like
do
the little
jewelry.
Coke thing from
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
I just watched that.
Did you love it?
I've watched it before. I love that movie. That and The Craft are right there for me.
Never saw The Craft. It's
Jasmine's
a
angry.
pure lesbian movie. is what it is.
Why wouldn't you? I don't even watch. For fashion.
Oh, well, look at
The
me.
fashion's so cute.
I honest to God don't know. Yeah, most people who talk about and love The Craft that I know in my life are in fact lesbians.
Oh yeah, y'all need to educate yourselves.
Shit.
Weird.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of
That's it?
Whole Throughout. Yeah, I tell you a
You
story.
just told us to hurry up.
Yeah. If
wanted
you
to
want to
hear
hear
more.
stories about other, well, good for you. There's 3 more episodes out we've done before about famous hosts throughout history. You can listen to because I know you will.
Okay.
Guys, Jazz, where can people find you?
People can find me at Jasmine J.
And Coat Potterman, where can people find you?
My house.
At your house?
Ew.
Over to my house.
Don't say
Don't
that.
invite them over to your house. Unless you mean it.
What?
Ew, don't say that. You can find me at Kate Peterman on Instagram and KAYTEPEA on Twitter.
Then, if you would like to rate this because we need that.
Oh.
We also switched over from comedy to society and culture because we don't think it's a comedy so much anymore. We think it's more like a wellness edutainment podcast.
Yeah,
So.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because it's like straight comedies on iTunes are so like overly saturated with stand-ups or like vloggers, and not that I don't listen to all of them, but I just felt like this belonged in a different category. Thanks for your support. We will see you next time. Tweet us if you want. If
You
have
could
a famous
also
hoe.
find me at.
Oh my god.
No, you really could also find me at my podcast.
Oh yeah, that'll be linked below. We're doing an episode together at Things I Used to Lie About. Goodbye.
Oh my god.